shooting homicide at this Fort Scott, Kansas home.
Travel conditions looking great as we get ready for a holiday weekend. 3 days left before Christmas arrives and possible record-breaking temperatures.
Well, the Christmas clock is ticking with just 3 days left to get those last-minute gifts.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Authorities are on the hunt for a Fort Scott, Kansas man wanted for questioning after 2 people, including his own mother, are found dead inside their Fort Scott home. This is KOAM News at Noon. I'm Tanya Bach. Topping our first 7 minutes, a double shooting death investigation in Bourbon County. Agents with the Kansas Bureau of Investigation and the crime scene response team are now working the case.
It started at this home at 402 Main Street in Fort Scott. At approximately 7:40 p.m., the Fort Scott Police Department received a 911 call from a subject who came home to find a female family member had been shot. When police arrived, they located 48-year-old Melissa Mitchell, who had died from a gunshot wound. They also discovered 53-year-old Leonard Zimmerman dead inside the residence. Both victims were pronounced dead at the scene. Authorities are now looking for the victim's son, Dawson Mitchell. The 23-year-old is considered a person of interest and is wanted for questioning connected to the case. Mitchell is a white man, 5'7" tall, and weighs approximately 160 pounds. He has blonde hair and blue eyes. You can see him in this surveillance photo, where last seen wearing blue jeans, a brown Carhartt-style coat, and a baseball cap that is light in color in the front and dark in color in the back. If you have any information on Mitchell's whereabouts, you are asked to contact the Fort Scott Police Department at 620-223-1700 or the KBI at 1-800-KS-CRIME. Mitchell is expected to be armed and dangerous. Do not approach him and immediately call the police. Reporting live in Fort Scott, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
Thank you so much for that report, Bronte. We'll have the latest, of course, tonight on the KOAM News at 5. And you can stay up to date on this case and other top news stories with our KOAM News Now breaking news app. The code you see on your screen will link you directly to the app. It's available for download on both Apple and Android devices. The Crawford County Jail gets a security upgrade with 40 new cameras. Sheriff Danny Smith says the new cameras are positioned to prevent blind spots, helping to ensure security for inmates and jail staff. Cameras also allow jailers to spot potential mechanical issues before they become worse. And a Labette County deputy used a ratchet strap as a makeshift tourniquet to save the life of a woman hit by a train over the weekend. That's just one piece of information we learned when speaking with Deputy Gabe Vitt. On Sunday, the deputy responded to a call that a pedestrian had been hit by a train. When he arrived, he found the woman whose leg was severed.
If mindset had tunnel vision, that's where I was at, and my main focus was to get a tourniquet and get it on as fast as possible. Whenever I did get out of the vehicle, I did hear her screaming, help me, please hurry.
Deputy Vitt has been a full-time deputy for less than a year. Well, definitely in the right place at the right time.
No joke.
Sure. Thankful he was there.
It is a testament to all of our 4-state first responders. You and I, we've been here long enough to be able to not only get to know them, but to work around them in a professional sense. It amazes me the heroism that they display on a day-to-day basis.
Very
truly is. Anyway, Tanya, as we progress into weather, we are talking about how warm is your warm. How about this? We're not yet 22 days into the full month, right? Our average high right now, so like take your daytime high, take your nightly low, combine them, divide it by 2, 10 degrees warmer than historically.
Wow.
10 degrees. And it's one of those things where maybe you get through 5-10 days of a month and you go, oh, it's abnormally warm. This is going to carry on. This may end up being the second warmest December on record. It's got a very good chance because we're not going to slow down. We're talking about hitting 60s and 70s before we hit Christmas. Here we are at the 12 o'clock hour at 51 in Joplin. Let's roll 50 in Chanute, 47 right now in Cassville. Miami and Grove already sit at 54 degrees. Now, one thing I do want to point out, it is going to be abnormally dry. So our humidity numbers dropping down into the 30s, and we haven't bottomed out yet. Got to remember, that really doesn't happen until about, in between 1:30, 2:30. And what that will mean are some elevated fire conditions because we've got absolutely no moisture up in the air. Our temperatures for today, mid-50s. And here's the great thing, overnight, we will avoid the freezing point. No need to worry about the scraper. You can actually go ahead and put it back. Where do you keep yours?
Underneath my seat.
Underneath your seat, okay. Glove compartment, middle console, underneath your seat. You won't need it because coming up here in just a little bit, we're going to head into the Christmas weekend, and you're going to see exactly why we're talking about this record-breaking December.
Might need to use that AC. All right, thanks, Michael. Topping Nation Watch, the president gets an update on supply chain snags before Christmas. President Biden called together his supply chain task force to discuss progress made in working through the number of cargo containers stuck in our nation's ports. Natalie Brand has more details from the White House.
Longshoremen at the Port of Savannah are working 24 hours a day to clear the backlog of shipping containers.
We're still catching up as a nation to what happened a year and a half ago when Asia shut down.
The ongoing supply chain bottlenecks mean some store owners can't get what they need during the busiest time of the year.
We're seeing things delayed up to 3 months and more. Shipping prices are sky high right now.
Days before Christmas, President Biden is getting an update from his supply chain task force, industry experts and CEOs.
At the Port of Long Beach since mid-October, the dwell times for those containers has dropped from 12 days to 5 days. That's 140% improvement. And in Los Angeles, from 9 days to 4 days, 125% improvement.
This week, the Biden administration is announcing $230 million in grant money to help ports upgrade their infrastructure.
We're also working to unstick bottlenecks between the ports and the stores by getting more trucks moving all around the country.
Savannah's port used federal dollars to help create pop-up ports further inland to clear containers off the docks.
At the end of the day, we're all dealing with a parking lot. And when the parking lot is full, it's full. So the race for us is to keep the parking lot as empty as possible and keep the cars moving out.
It's a model other ports could look at replicating to deal with what's been a record volume of import cargo. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Despite whatever progress the ports have made in clearing out the docks, a report from the digital freight forwarding company Schiffel says the backlog on the West Coast is still so severe that it's actually faster for companies to ship their cargo from Asia to ports in New York and New Jersey rather than Long Beach and LA. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at noon, with only 3 days left to shop, some retailers are still promising that present will land under the tree in time. We'll tell you the best way to make it happen. And later, we're making a Christmas tree brownie in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Calling all procrastinators, there are just 3 days left until Christmas. Michael, I'm talking to you. Plenty of shoppers are hitting the stores and increasing COVID risks to get those last-minute gifts. And as Janet Shimlian reports, they also risk coming home empty-handed.
Many last-minute shoppers are now hearing these words, out of stock.
There's a lot of us explaining to people that, we don't have a lot of what they're, might be looking for.
This is Houston's Fundamentally Toys, where supply chain issues mean many of manager Cliff Moss's orders never arrived.
There's a lot of things that we're expecting, that were expected 2 months ago. We get emails daily about, sorry, it's still on the water.
Despite the backlog, the National Retail Federation expects record growth, predicting an 11% increase in holiday sales this year, all in the face of the Omicron variant.
Does the National Retail Federation not believe that the new variant will have an impact on these last few days?
There's a lot of uncertainty surrounding the new variant. It's impacting different parts of the country in different ways.
With many online retailers now unable to deliver in time for Christmas,
Happy holidays. Thank you.
Shoppers are looking to physical stores, even as Omicron surges.
The acronym that you want to remember is BOPIS: Buy Online, Pick Up in Store. It's a great strategy.
For those hoping to get it all done before Christmas, long lines and a fingers crossed attitude.
Right now I'm at USPS, and they really helped me get my last-minute shopping sent out. I'm praying, keeping my hopes up, keeping the holiday spirit alive.
Shoppers told us they were mindful of the increasing Omicron risk as they finished holiday errands. Janet Shamlian, CBS News, Houston.
Retail experts say shoppers should keep their options open and expect to pay a little more. You can also get gifts like subscription services, event tickets, phone apps, or electronic gift cards. Still to come on the KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
Today in the Test Kitchen, we'll show you how easy it is to create a tasty and beautiful Christmas tree that'll win you rave reviews.
But first, Michael Hayslip returns with your complete forecast.
Almost to a case where we're asking, how warm is your warm? We're 21 and a half days through the month of December. And here's the crazy thing about it. When we look at our average high for this time of year would be 46. But what I want to do is I want to combo the average high and the average low and take us through 21 days. Normally, okay, so that's somewhere in that 30, 35 degree range. The record, 2015, as a matter of fact, historically speaking, if you look at our records for the month of December, 2015, 2012, 2001, very recent years, speaking that we have 120 years of data on record. And what we're looking at right now, we would not only be number one in 2021, but we'd be number one by 4 degrees. And when you talk about weather-wise, that's blowing records out of the water, 4 degrees, especially when we're 22 days through a year. Bustling over 7th and Rangeline, everybody trying to get that last-minute shopping done. As Tanya has reminded us, we only have 3 days left. And yes, she's allowed to make fun of me because she knows that I do a lot of my shopping historically on the 24th. I did tell her that I'm going to try to get it done on the 23rd this year. 51 degrees is where we stand in Joplin, 48 in Pittsburgh, 54 already in Miami, but what a wide difference. Earlier this morning, we had temperatures as low as 19, 20 degrees, so a nice little 30-degree bump up from where we started, and the big difference right here as we see the wind arrow shift, work in from the south, double digits in Independence and Chanute, and so what that's going to indicate, airports in Grove, Joplin, and Nevada. As the wind continues to progress off to the east, we will see those get to about 10 to 15 miles per hour too. Problem with that, not only the wind, but also very low humidity, sinking into the 30s, so we do have elevated fire conditions, which I know sounds extremely counterintuitive that we're sitting in December. Clean Skywatch Storm Tracker though, and really, if you're in a car, absolutely no problems, even if you have to fly. The only place we're seeing delays right now are the Pacific Northwest, good storm system working off the Pacific, and far reaches of the northeastern and New England portions of the contiguous 48. Everybody else, if you look at the FlightAware and the old delay map, it looks absolutely wonderful as far as not having to worry about standing in line or waiting for a flight. And here in the 4 states, we're talking about highs today around 56 degrees, incrementally raising our high temperatures for the month of December. And then overnight, you can put the ice scraper away. We will not have any frost on the windows as of tomorrow. Big difference is the clouds. When those come in, trap that heat that what we've had for today. And as we get into tomorrow, we're not going to get a whole lot of sunshine tomorrow, but I tell you what's going to happen. Look at this warm up that we have. 61 on Thursday, then the clouds clear off, 72 on Friday. And a great looking Christmas day with 66 on Saturday.
Can't complain about that, that's for sure. A lot of people will be hitting the road different days this week, so.
Anytime you're going to hit the road, honestly, it's going to be absolutely pristine. And when I say that, I don't care if you go 5 or 6 hours away. The entire Midwest with that high pressure hanging over us, Mother Nature's smiled upon us.
There you go. All right, thanks, Michael. We take this time to honor today's 4-state hero, Jonathan Holes in the U.S. Navy. The Joplin, Missouri native served tours in both Sicily and in Guam. He earned a number of honors, including the Navy Marine Corps Achievement Medal, Good Conduct Medal, and the National Defense Service Medal. To Jonathan Holes, we thank you, our 4-state hero. This year, while you're rocking around the Christmas tree, why not whip up an edible version of the holiday tradition? Howard shows us how to make a Christmas tree brownie in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
One of the things I love most about the holidays is seeing all the creative and tasty desserts that everyone comes up with. If you're looking for a perfect dessert to serve at your next party, or if you just need something sweet to share with a friend or coworker, then you're gonna love the decadent brownies that we're whipping up today. Just so you know, this looks special enough that it can double as a centerpiece. Here we have a boxed brownie mix that we baked in a 9x13 pan lined with foil. After it cooled, we popped it in the freezer for a few minutes to firm up. Now, we flip it out of the pan, remove the foil, and make 2 diagonal cuts starting at the top. This gets us our traditional Christmas tree shape. For the 2 side pieces, we place them together on a platter, like this, creating another brownie Christmas tree that's the exact same size. We frost this with some canned frosting that we dressed up by adding some mint extract and food coloring. Now, we place the other triangle on top, trim the edges, and frost the whole thing with the rest of the icing. After decorating our tree with all sorts of edible holiday candies and ornaments, it's ready to show off. Not only is it easy to make, but it makes you look like some fancy pastry chef. To get the recipe for our Christmas tree brownie, all you need to do is go online. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a tremendously sweet way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
I wondered if he'd have a good tree pun for us. You can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Now here's a look at our 4 state market prices.
Now we're going to get out of here on a positive note, but before we do, I want everybody to remember that today, tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday, we will have elevated fire concerns because of a good south wind and very low humidity. So please, no burning outside, but take time to get fresh air and enjoy temperatures that are close to record-breaking for Christmas Eve.
Right, what do we have coming up tonight at 5?
Well, at 5, it's the most wonderful time of the year and maybe the most stressful. We're going to check out a new poll on holiday stress and what you can do about it as a parent. Plus, a Carthage church gives back to Joplin's homeless shelter, Souls Harbor, with needed items. And we're going to have the latest, of course, in the search for the suspect in a double murder in Fort Scott. Hope you'll join us for those stories. A lot more, of course. It's all coming up on KOAM News at 5.
And thank you, Dow. Thanks for joining us for KOAM News at noon. We'll see you right back here at 5 o'clock.